So hi, Yi. You look so excited today.
Definitely, it's a very nice evening to be, especially when you're talking about the environment. Don't you think so, Ernie?
Oh yeah. By the way, do you know who is our guest for today?
I heard we have two very beautiful and intelligent females coming over to our show. I heard first of one of them is a professor, or more specifically, yang berbahagia Professor Datuk Doctor in the School of USS, more specifically School of Biological Science. So I think a lot of students are familiar with her work, and she has done a lot of work for our university. And next also I heard is regarding Miss Earth Malaysia 2020 and 2021. She works also as a doctor in the Putrajaya Hospital, and it starts with Dr. Nisha Tayanantan. Ah,
Yeah. Uh, I think you forgot someone that very special tonight. And yeah, we have our special guest for tonight, which is Kuchai Mas. He's a Malaysian singer, and I'm sure most of you are here to listen to his voice, right?
oh my! Oh, I hope that, through the performance, I'll be able to also hear the beauty of the ocean and also the beauty of his voice. Kuchai-mas. Oh my God.
And yeah, not to mention also our gorgeous Miss Dr. Nisha and our widely experienced Dr. Eileen. And yes, Yi, are you ready for tonight?
I'm definitely. But before I proceed, I feel that I need some extra aids also. But first, let me start with my own body. Being as a human, we all aim to be a perfect human body. And I have to be healthy also. So health starts from the gut. Most especially our stomach. So I drink Yakult. Have you guys heard of Yakult? I think most of you heard of it. I drink it since I was the age of 7. My mom always brought me to the Pasar Malam and then go get a bottle of Yakult. Yakult is a very healthy product, especially when it replenishes the flora and fauna of our stomach. But not only that, to be healthy, I also need some energy. But energy in the form of what? Instant burnable energy. Red Bull. You guys heard of Red Bull? I think most of you has. There's no sugars and there's a lot of vitamins inside. So once you feel, you need some energy, you need some boost for the day, take Red Bull. Back to you, Ernie.
Yeah, do you know that TTH is our annual event of MPDR?
Yup, I knew about that.
Can you explain about TTH?
So let me talk a little bit from a background perspective. So we humans have been focusing a lot on technology. What's the newest iPad? What's the newest phone? What's the newest Samsung? So we've forgotten about something. We've forgotten about the human side, which is the ocean and more specifically the environment, Mother Nature itself. We've been advancing so much in the technology sector, but we've forgotten about Mother Nature. So today we're going to talk about our activities and the impact on the ocean. I think that's all from Train to Humanity. Don't you think it's a very good summary, Ernie?
Yeah, I think so. So are you ready for tonight?
Ready or not, here I come.
Semuanya bermula dengan keinginan untuk pergi lebih jauh. Sejak ditubuhkan sebagai Bank Koperasi pada 28 September 1954, Bank Rakyat telah menelurusi pelbagai transformasi positif. Perubahan daripada sistem perbankan konvensional kepada sistem perbankan syariah. Pada tahun 2002, telah menyaksikan Bank Rakyat terus mencatatkan perkembangan yang memberangsangkan saban tahun. Bank Rakyat kekal utuh mengharungi pelbagai cabaran yang menjangkaui sempadan dan persekitaran perniagaan daripada spektrum yang berbeza, berlandaskan prinsip syariah dan menyediakan landasan kukuh hari ini untuk generasi akan datang. Menerusi visi untuk menjadi Bank Koperasi Islam Progresif nombor 1 di Malaysia serta misi untuk memacu kemakmuran ekonomi anggota, pelanggan dan negara bangsa. Bank Rakyat berpegang teguh kepada mandat untuk meningkatkan status ekonomi rakyat dan pembangunan masyarakat. anugerah dan pengiktirafan dari dalam dan luar negara yang diterima saban tahun memberikan testimoni yang jelas bahawa kami memberikan impak yang signifikan dalam industri yang diceburi. Di samping aktiviti perbankan Islam, kami memainkan peranan utama dalam menggerakkan sektor koperasi untuk manfaat anggota bagi menyokong mereka membangunkan perniagaan. Kami terus mengembangkan produk dan fasiliti pelanggan yang pelbagai serta inovatif yang meliputi perbankan runcit, pembiayaan komersial, simpanan dan pelaburan serta produk perancangan kewangan bagi memenuhi keperluan pelbagai spektrum pelanggan masa kini. Saluran penyampaian yang cekap turut diperluaskan serta sentiasa ditambah baik. Bank Rakyat terus mengekalkan imej korporat yang mesra untuk menempatkan diri semuanya bermula dengan keinginan untuk pergi lebih jauh. Sejak ditubuhkan sebagai bank koperasi pada 28 September 1954, Bank Rakyat telah menelurusi pelbagai transformasi positif. Perubahan daripada sistem perbankan konvensional kepada sistem perbankan syariah. Pada tahun 2002, telah menyaksikan Bank Rakyat terus mencatatkan perkembangan yang memberangsangkan saban tahun. Bank Rakyat kekal utuh mengharungi pelbagai cabaran yang menjangkaui sempadan dan persekitaran perniagaan daripada spektrum yang berbeza, berlandaskan prinsip syariah dan menyediakan landasan kukuh hari ini untuk generasi akan datang. Menerusi visi untuk menjadi bank koperasi Islam progresif nombor 1 di Malaysia serta misi untuk memacu kemakmuran ekonomi anggota, pelanggan dan negara bangsa, Bank Rakyat berpegang teguh kepada mandat untuk meningkatkan status ekonomi rakyat dan pembangunan masyarakat. Anugerah dan pengiktirafan dari dalam dan luar negara yang diterima saban tahun memberikan testimoni yang jelas bahawa kami memberikan impak yang signifikan dalam industri yang diceburi. Di samping aktiviti perbankan Islam, kami memainkan peranan utama dalam menggerakkan sektor koperasi untuk manfaat anggota bagi menyokong mereka membangunkan perniagaan. Kami terus mengembangkan produk dan fasiliti pelanggan yang pelbagai serta inovatif yang meliputi perbankan runcit, pembiayaan komersial, simpanan dan pelaburan serta produk perancangan kewangan bagi memenuhi keperluan pelbagai spektrum pelanggan masa kini. Saluran penyampaian yang cekap turut diperluaskan serta sentiasa ditambah baik. Bank Rakyat terus mengekalkan imej korporat yang mesra untuk menempatkan diri pada asas yang tepat untuk menjadi bank pilihan rakyat Malaysia. Bersesuaian dengan slogan kami, Bank Rakyat, bank pilihan anda.
Welcome to our Yakult Factory Virtual Tour. You have an amazing opportunity to venture around our high-technology equipped factory and to get you up close to the Yakult manufacturing process. See you!
Yakult, Yakult.
Apabila tenaga berterusan berpadan dengan rasa citrus tropikal, tiada batasan bagimu. Memperkenalkan minuman tenaga baru dengan rasa citrus tropikal. Untuk mencapai matlamat yang diperlu, tinggi dengan vitamin B3, B6, B12 dan tanpa gula. Red Bull Plus, rasa baru tenaga.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and a very good evening. My name is Arni Fitriani, your MC for today. First of all, I would like to bid a very warm welcome to Yang Berusaha Professor Dr. Faisal Rafiq Muhammad Adikan, Vice Chancellor of University of Science Malaysia, and our panelists yang berbahagia Professor Datuk Dr. Aileen Tan Syahui, Director of Center for Marine and Coastal Studies, USM, and Executive Director of Asia Pacific University Community Engagement Network, Dr. Nisha Tayanatan, Miss Earth Malaysia 2020-2021. Kuchai Mas, our guest artist, teknologis Dr. Syahrizal Nazri, Penggawa Desa Siswa Restu, all penolong penggawa Desa Siswa Restu, all the lecturer from USM and other universities as well, respectable Miss Joyana Dilam Anak Clement, the President of Students' Council of Desa Siswa Restu, MPDR, Tuan Muhammad Haikal, Tuan Muhammad Akhtar, Project Director of TTH 4.0, Majlis yang dipertua Majlis Penghuni Desa Siswa MYDP MPD University Science Malaysia Academic Session 2020-2021. Before we proceed the further event, I would like to invite all of you to sing our national anthem Negaraku Menara Ilmu USM.
University Sains Malaysia, menara ilmu tercinta, jadi tumpuan antara bangsa untuk segala cita-cita. Berinovasi, berteknologi, berwawasan, berkualiti. Biar usaha kami bersemi, hasratnya lah berseri. University Sains Malaysia, menara ilmu tercinta, jadi tumpuan antara bangsa untuk segala cita-cita.
Today, at the dawn of a new day, 1 in 5 live on less than $1 a day. Where clean water is scarce, where healthcare is limited, where even one meal is hard to find, a brighter future can seem an impossible dream. But we can make a difference to the things that matter. Today, I will make a difference. Today, I will nurture them. Today, I will transform them in their everyday, every song, every life, every dream, and every seed of hope. For them, their children, and their children's children. A brighter tomorrow awaits. Through the power of our commitment, today we will make a difference.
There was the transformation video of University Science Malaysia to call upon all USM community in upholding the mission of transforming the higher education for a sustainable tomorrow. We begin in the name of Allah, the most merciful and most gracious. We shall begin this program today with dua recitation led by Muhammad Nasmin.
Assalamualaikum and a very good evening. Let us start our dua with recitation of Al-Fatiha. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين. إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين. اللهم إنك خلق العظيم، إنك سميع عليم، إنك غفور رحيم، إنك رب العرش العظيم. Ya Allah, Ya Rahman, Ya Rahim, we express our gratitude to you for allowing us to attend the launching ceremony of Train to Humanity 4.0 on this blessed night. Ya Allah, we ask you for the safety of our religion and the welfare of our body. O Allah, Lord of the implementing authority, make the days that we have gone through, starting with your mercy, continue with your blessing, and end with your forgiveness. And also make the days that we have gone through with guidance and end with the victory of excellence. Ya Latif, Ya Rahman. Let our efforts as a means to enlighten and convince ourselves that the personal safety of either outer or inner is a basis for achieving happiness and excellence in various fields. O Allah, please grant us faith and strength to face the challenges of life during the transition period and in the face of life in this new millennium. Ya Allah, Ya Dhal Jalali wal Ikram. Ya Allah, please show us guidance and adjust our path and ways to achieve happiness and glory. Let us listen to people who like good things and let us avoid doing evil things. O Allah, please bless our ceremony and gathering and prevent us from harm and unfortunate events. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم والحمد لله رب العالمين.
Amin, Amin, Ya Rabbal Alamin. Thank you for the dua just now. Next, I would like to invite the project director of TTH 4.0 to deliver his speech. Please welcome Tuan Muhammad Haikal, Tuan Muhammad Akhtar.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Greetings everyone. Creative from USM and best regards. Thank you to the host of the event, Honorable VVIPs, Yang Bersahab Professor Dr. Faizal Muhammad, Yang Bersahab Professor Dr. Faizal Rafiq Muhammad Adikan, the Vice Chancellor of University Science Malaysia. Yang berbahagia Professor Datuk Dr. Aileen Tan Shah Huai, Director of CIMAC USM, Executive Director of Asia Pacific University Community Engagement Networks, Dr. Nisha Tayanathan, Miss Earth Malaysia, at Kuchaimas Guest Artist. Respected Sir T.S. Dr. Shahriazan Nazri, the Principal of DCC Suarez 2, respected Mr. Hussein Muhammad Tris, Madam Nurul Fahana Cik Hassan, Madam Muazzah Ismail, and Madam Nino Izzati Muhammad, the Deputy Principal of DCC Suarez 2, all the lecturers from USM and other university as well, respectable Ms. Jayana Dilam Anak Clement, the President of Student Council of Beasiswa Restu MPDR, Majlis Yang Dipertua Majlis Penghuni Beasiswa My DP MPD USM Academic Session 2020-2021. Beloved the High Committee member of MPDR members, and the fellow audience. I am Tuan Muhammad Haikal Tuan Muhammad Akhtar as the project director of the Train to Humanity 4.0. To all audience, welcome to Train to Humanity 4.0. First of all, I would like to say thank you to the respected Yang Berbahagia Professor Datuk Dr. Aileen Tan Shah Huai and Dr. Nisha Tayanadan for their willingness to join as panelists in this program. Furthermore, I would like to thank all participants who are willing to implement this program. For information, today's program theme is Cerulean Reflection of Your Soul, where it bring the desire to spread awareness to all communities, especially students of University Science Malaysia, on human action that protects the environment, and it will be more grateful if the community have a compassionate towards other living beings and at the same time to keep the sea clean. This program aims to cultivate human values toward other life and apply the element of SDG 40, life below water, to the community. It is hoped that this program can give a positive impact to the participants to produce community that have high value of the love in protect environment. To all audience, enjoy for DTH 4.0 and thank you.
Thank you, Tuan Muhammad Haikal, for the speech. To begin this program, we are pleased to invite Professor Dr. Faisal Rafiq Muhammad Adikan as Vice Chancellor of University Science Malaysia to give the opening speech. Although he is unable to attend the event physically, he has gladly prepared a short greeting video for us. Please welcome.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul 'uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam sejahtera. Thank you so much for the MC, for the kind introduction. For my colleagues, Deputy Vice Chancellors, Yang Berbahagia Datuk Profesor Datuk Dr. Aileen Tan Shah Huai, Dr. Nisha Tayanantan, pengawal-pengawal and penolong-pengawal of this siswa restu, Tuan Muhammad Haikal, Tuan Muhammad Akhtar, the Project Director of Train to Humanity Program 4.0, Cerulean Reflection of Your Soul. First and foremost, thank you so much for inviting me to this fantastic program. I apologize for not being able to be here today. I've read the proposal for this program, and I think it's absolutely timely that we look into the ocean. It forms about 71% of the body of the earth. And yes, if you read books like the Inhabitable Planet by David Wallace, for example, you feel for yourselves, but more importantly for the future, what does the future hold with regards to all things Earth? And I think I'm sure Prof. Aileen and Dr. Nisha will be telling us about coral bleaching, for example, the dynamics of climate crisis in the sense that everything is connected to each other, and it is through our acts, or it is through our inability to act, that we are in this particular juncture at this point of time. In fact, people have introduced a term that, they call it Anthropocene, which is that particular time in the long history of Earth where human beings actually impacted the Earth, whether it's positively or negatively. That particular segment of life or of humanity is called Anthropocene. And when USM realized that this is something that we want all students, not just students in RES2, not just Cerulean, but everyone should be aware of this, we've decided to introduce the LIFE program. So for those of you who are not in the new, LIFE program will be a pilot summer program for 2 weeks, where the aim is to actually introduce LIFE to all new USM students, undergraduates and postgraduates. But for this summer program, it's for 2 weeks. We're going to teach our students financial literacy, design and computational design and computational thinking, and all the SDGs. Plus, all the students will be visiting 2 out of 3 of our living lab, including CMAX in Teluk Bahang. And also students will be exposed to genomics and gerontology. So we want our students to be, although they're taking engineering or medicine, they have a larger picture of what the world is about, and hopefully they become better engineers, better doctors, who would add to the effort to fix what needs fixing. And so I think I highly commend this effort. I think that this is the 4th version of Train to Humanity program. I believe it is so because of the success, because of the advocacy, and because of the awareness that the program managed to raise. I would like to again congratulate everyone who has been working very hard to make this a success, especially Tuan Muhammad Haikal, who's the director. And let's hope that more people will believe that this can be reversed, and we should be those people who would not pollute the ocean with microplastics, with the mask that we wear. At least have a bit of more awareness. And of course, the experts, Dr. Eileen, who's been around for years, who's very experienced, will be able to shed some light into this. Have a good program. Thank you again for inviting me. Again, I apologize for not being there. And yes, USM will lead, and we will continue to lead, transforming higher education for a sustainable tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank you for the inauguration by our Vice Chancellor. I hope Prof is doing well. Ladies and gentlemen, the university and its residents are part of the society. Therefore, the integrity of the social institution also depends on the effectiveness of the contribution of the role of its campus residents in relaying the message on the importance of knowledge and awareness among society. Upon this awareness, MPDR was once again called to hold Train to Humanity TTH 4.0 for this year. The TTH 4.0 set different targets by including 3 aspects: the value of humanity, environment, and health. The theme for TTH 4.0 this time is Cerulean, Reflection of Your Soul, to give awareness to people about human activities that cause environmental pollution. Before we start our session tonight, let's watch a few videos that have been prepared. Enjoy.
Kukuhkan niat, bulatkan tekad, membangun jiwa, mencintai bumi.
Tanam bersama cita mulia, menjaga warisan bumi.
Satukan langkah, teguhkan jiwa, berjuang terus, selamatkan bumi.
Damai bahagia dan sejahtera, berwujud bumi lestari. Semoga kita tetap semangat pelihara bumi kita. Semoga kita terus bersatu mencintai bumi kita. Kukuhkan niat, bulatkan tekad, membangun jiwa, mencintai bumi.
Tanam bersama cita mulia, menjaga warisan bumi.
Satukan langkah, teguhkan jiwa, berjuang terus, selamatkan bumi.
Damai bahagia dan sejahtera, terwujud bumi lestari.
Semoga kita tetap semangat pelihara bumi kita. Semoga kita terus bersatu mencintai bumi kita.
Semoga kita terus bersatu mencintai bumi kita.
Semoga kita terus bersatu mencintai bumi kita. Semoga kita terus bersatu mencintai bumi kita. Bumi kita.
For your information, this video performance involved a few students from USM. This contribution helps students to show their talents and skills. Thank you to everyone who was involved in the production of this video that was shown just now. So, to discuss more about this topic, we would like to invite Yi Jianyang as our moderator for tonight. Yi, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much to our beloved MC Ernie. So, before I proceed, let me just greet everyone good evening. Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. Welcome to our forum, Train to Humanity 4.0 Cerulean Reflection of Your Soul. But before you proceed, you might be wondering, again, why are you here? It's around, I think, 9 p.m. and you could be watching your Netflix subscriptions. You could be continue playing ML, Mobile Legends. You could be continue playing League of Legends or doing a bunch of stuff, other stuff that you deem important, like sleeping. So, but don't you know that we humans already have tortured Mother Nature for long enough? And let me ask you one question. So let's say one day an alien came to visit Earth. Its spacecraft was hovering around Earth, and what will it see? It'll first see the ocean. And if it sees the ocean, it's a bunch of dead fishes floating up. It's all brown and dark. What do you think the alien will do? Will you want to visit Earth? No, I think it will just fly off to Mars again and be like, hey, is there any life here? So it leaves a bad impression for aliens. And not only that, it shows that humans, at the same time, we are also evolving towards a more modern technology. But at the same time, we have been abandoning Mother Nature, especially our ocean. So before I proceed, let me also welcome our professional guests. But before we proceed, also let me give a warm round of applause to all of them for attending our event. A warm round of applause from all of us. Thank you so much. And first in line, it's Yang Berusaha Professor Dr. Faisal Rafiq Maham Adikan, Vice Chancellor of University Science Malaysia. Next, we have Yang Berbahagia Professor Dr. Eileen Tan Xiao Huai, Director of Center for Marine and Coastal Studies, University Science Malaysia. Did you know that she is also the Executive Director of Asia Pacific University Community Engagement Network, consisting of 21 countries? That's a very large organization. Now, she also specializes in marine science and sustainable aquaculture. Next in line, we also have Dr. Nisha Tayanantan, Miss of Malaysia of 2020 and 2021. And she's said to be a beauty with a Purpose Award winner, Miss World Malaysia 2019. Now, let's not forget also, Pengawal Desa Siswa Restu, TS Dr. Sharizal Nasri. For your information, you might wondering, what is TS? Does it mean technology savvy? It's actually professional technologist, which is accredited from the Malaysian Board of Technologies. Wow, very impressive guest we have here. But let's not also forget, let us thank all the penolong pegawai of Desa Siswa Restu. And also, next also, we have to thank all of the lecturers and professors of University Science Malaysia and other universities as well. Thank you so much for your involvement in our program. Now, let us also proceed with Miss Joyanna Dilam Anak Clement, President of Majlis Penghuni Desa Siswa Restu, MPDR. And we also have Tuan Muhammad Haikal Tuan Muhammad Akhtar, Project Director of Train to Humanity 4.0. Without him, we will not see this in front of our eyes. So also, let's thank Tuan Muhammad Haikal. Thank you so much. Now, we have one more guest in line. You might be wondering, who is it? So let me introduce Majlis Yang di-Pertua Majlis Penghuni Desa Siswa MyDP MPD University Science Malaysia Academic Session 2020-2021. Thank you so much to all of the guests. We have introduced all our guests. So once again, a warm round of applause from us. Thank you so much. Now, we finished greeting our guests. And you might be wondering, who is our panelist? So, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good evening. My name is Yi Jen Yang, your moderator for today. You can just call me Jen Yang for short, or you can call me by my surname Yi. Now, before I introduce our panelists, I'd like to give you a small scenario. Now, I know everyone right now we are facing exam. It's the exam week, right? So let me just give you a scenario. Now, let's say you finish your exam, right? You're very stressed and stuff, and there's no COVID. And now we decide to go to Queens Bay Mall, and you find a very interesting movie called, guess what it is? Finding Nemo. And you see Finding Nemo, wow, such a nice film, right? The ocean is clean, and the fishes are swimming around. And after you exited Queens Bay Mall and outside the cinema, you decide to go, hey, let us go to the beach, more specifically, Balik Pulau. Wow, such a nice beach. In your mind, Balik Pulau is a very nice beach, very clean, very white. It's the perfect scenario for a holiday, just a one-day holiday. But once you go to Balik Pulau, you see something very strange. You see Balik Pulau, the once white beaches have been turned into a dark and brown cement. You're right, what are you? Hey, isn't the sand white? Isn't the sand supposed to be white? And you see a bunch of plastics lying around. Not only that, you see a bunch of Nemos on the beach. They have been dried, becoming ikan bilis. Wash the shore. All the plastics are stuffed inside their mouth. And now, what do you think has happened to our ocean? So today, we're going to talk about how our daily activities impacts the environment, more specifically, the ocean. Now, without further ado, I want to introduce our panelists. The first panelist is a professor from the School of Biological Science in University Science Malaysia. She is also the director of Center for Marine and Coastal Studies, CMAX in University Science Malaysia, as well as the executive director of Asia Pacific University Community Engagement Network. She, for information, she also has given a talk on TEDx talk, on YouTube. You can find many videos of her on the YouTube channel also. A very impressive feat to achieve. Now, let me introduce Yang Berbahagia Professor Dr. Eileen Tan Xiao Huai. How are you doing tonight?
Yeah, I'm doing fine. Thank you, Jen Yang. Nice to be here.
Thank you so
Can you
much.
hear me?
Yeah, we can hear.
Yeah, that's great. I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, we're also happy to have you on our panelists. Okay. So for our second panelist, we have a very beautiful and intelligent woman. Introducing Miss Earth Malaysia 2020-21, a beauty with a purpose award winner, Miss World Malaysia 2019. Also, fun fact, she's also a full-time doctor in Putrajaya's Hospital as a medical officer. Not only that, she is coming out with her own biodegradable sanitary napkins, EcoPet, and she is one in charge of one of the biggest projects in Malaysia, Fund a Child Surgery. Not only she's beautiful on the outside, we can see that she has a very beautiful heart, very pure heart, championing for environment causes, helping out our society. And not only that, she'll be hosting her own medical show on Bernama to raise funds for the underprivileged. Let's welcome Dr. Nisha Taya Nantan from Negeri Sembilan. How are you doing today, Dr. Nisha?
Hi, thank you so much for the magnificent introduction. I'm doing very well, but I'm a little bit not well today because I am in charge of COVID ward. I'm having fluctuating temperature, but I'm okay. How are you?
Yeah, we're fine, Dr. Nisha. Let's hope, these fluctuation temperatures, let's hope the side effects subsidize, it recedes after this, Let's hope the ocean cures you.
Hopefully, yeah.
Yeah, it might be a weird way to say, but that's how Darwinians say it, I think. That's how Mr. Darwin would say it. But okay, so we have very two impressive panelists today. Now, without further ado, I would like to welcome the speaker. First, Yang Berbahagia Professor Dr. Aili to give a short presentation to set the stage and mood for tonight. Dr. Aili, you may proceed.
Yeah. Thank you, Honorable VIP yang berusaha Professor Dr. Faizal Rafiq Muhammad Adikan, the Vice Chancellor of University Science Malaysia, Dr. Nisha Tayanathan, Miss Earth Malaysia 2020-2021, Kuchai Mas, our guest artist, respected Sir Dr. Sharizal Nazri, the Principal of Desa Siswa Restu, all the Deputy Principals of Desa Siswa Restu, all the lecturers from USM and other universities as well, respectable Miss Joyana Dilam Anak Clement, the President of Students Council of Desa Siswa Restu, MPDR, Tuan Muhammad Haikal, Tuan Muhammad Akhtar, Project Director of TTH 4.0, Majlis yang dipetua, Majlis Penghuni Desa Siswa, MYDP, MPD, UC Science Malaysia, Sidang Akademik 2020 and 2021, ladies and gentlemen. I wish to take this opportunity to thank the organizer for inviting me to share some of my thoughts on the oceans tonight. I wish to congratulate the organizer of TTH 4.0. I attended the morning session and it was indeed amazing sharing by the students. A great effort of students, by the students and for the students. Well done. Now please allow me to set the stage of tonight's discussion and tell all of you a bit more of our ocean. Let me share the screen, all right? Okay, I hope all of you can see my screen, okay?
Yeah, Dr. Aili, it's wide and clear.
That's great. Okay, so what I would like to share to set the stage is very quickly, I want to inform all of you what is happening to our ocean, like what Jen Yang has mentioned. So many things are happening, to our ocean, all by human doings, Okay, let me see this. Okay, as all of us know, just some refresh lecture, yeah. 708 you can see is why sometimes it's called the blue planet, because it's full of, it's actually 7.8 is water. Most of it is water. But before I actually goes into what's happening to our ocean, we must first know what do we have, our wealth. Like the Malay saying, we must know we are rich in many ways, in our heritage, in our resources, but many times, we always think richness is only about dollar and cents, but we are actually very rich in terms of our biodiversity, in terms of our heritage and wealth of the ocean. And if you look at this, this is just a small collection that you can actually see if you visit our natural marine reference collection located in CIMAX. This is just a small collection of shells, of mollusks, of shells from a group, a genus, So you can see it's huge, just by picking the cowries, is huge already, very diverse. And look at our fishes of the Southeast Asia, which also includes our water. If you look at that, the small round moving tiny stuff, those are all phytoplankton, copepod, and zooplankton. The richness is not only things that we see with our eyes, with our naked eyes, it's also things that we cannot see. And all these are very important to our ecosystem, to our food web, that it plays a role. Each of these species plays a role, to human. And look at this, the hawksbill turtle in Sarawak, the beauty you can see. If you knows how to dive, you can see lots and lots of beautiful things underwater. This is clownfish in Kedah. Nobody expect that there's clownfish. This is in Pulau Paya, taken in Pulau Paya. And then this is pygmy seahorse in Sabah. Pygmy is representing small. The size of this pygmy seahorse is the size of the head of a matchstick. Kayu mancis, the head of the kayu mancis is so tiny. Sometimes, that's why I say when you dive or snorkel, look out for all those small things also. Those are our heritage that we might not be aware of. The fluorescent sea anemone in Sabah, this is a very important component because some scientists overseas, they are actually using the component, the protein from the sea anemone, the fluorescent attribute, characteristics of this organism, to use it to trace cancer cell, because science has evolved in the sense that it can actually bind together with the protein of the cancer, and we can now scan cancer cells or the place where we have cancer fairly easy. But of course, the technology has not reached. You can see schools of dolphins, swimming, passing by, our marine station. It's a beautiful sight. It's really a beautiful sight, And then of course, I've dived with the schools of Barracuda and the schools of Jacks before. This is taken in Sabah, Just imagine if you can actually take up diving and you would see and you go around our oceans, what in Penang, most of our waters is fairly turbid. If you go out to the South China Sea and also to the Sulu Sulawesi in the Borneo, you have clearer water, and you can be with the fish. You can actually, what my supervisor, what my seafood say, Prof. Zulfikar, he always say, you can actually fly with the fish, underwater. Fly, because you can actually move in 3 directions. On land, you can only move 2 directions. In water, you can actually 3 direction. You can actually go up also, right? And this is the coral reefs in Pulau Bohidulang in Sabah, right? And after showing you what we have, the vast diversity, the richness, the wealth we have. The ocean is vast, but we must always bear in mind, it's not that it's even though it's vast, but it is not limitless. There is a limit to what we do or what we take from the oceans. Yeah. Okay, there are many threats to the ocean. Among the greatest are, of course, climate change, ocean acidification, rise in seawater surface temperature, introduction of alien species, harmful algae blooms, marine debris, and the most popular among all that all of us know or understand is marine debris, which is the plastic. One of the component is the marine plastic. But that doesn't mean that the rest of the threats is not important. Those are as important as the plastic pollution or marine debris in our water. The ocean is changing. The ocean is changing. If you look at the two diagrams in the ocean past, there is abundance of fish. Biodiversity of the fish we are eating, we are putting on the plate is various, you know. But the ocean present, we still have our some reef being protected, being maintained. But then we also starting having plastics or waste in our ocean that is a present. If we do not do anything now and let it as business as usual, our ocean future will be bare, you know, in the seafloor, nothing there. And there will be more fishing vessels on the ocean than fish to be fish. You know, that means there's not much to be fish, but there's a lot of will be having enough sources for all the fishermen to fish. Yeah. In layman terms, yeah, what is happening to our ocean? In layman terms, our ocean is sick. Yeah, it's very, very sick. You know, our ocean is hot. Yeah, because of the sea surface temperature rise. And our ocean is sour. Why we call it sour? Because the reducing pH level that makes the ocean sour, and also it's become breathless because of the excessive nutrients, excessive waste being put into the ocean. That you have things like eutrophication that take up a lot of the oxygen being used. Once the eutrophication happens and they will create dead areas, we call it hypoxia, and it will cause the area to be low or sometimes reach zero level of oxygen. That is why in layman terms, if you want to tell your pakcik makcik or the uncle in the hawker area, this is the term that you should use. It's hot, sour, and breathless, and it's very sick, you know. And the impacts of environment, you know, the picture on the left top is to shows, you know, we are now on the red zone, you know, red zone for temperature and for pH. And then down below, you can see we are all losing. There's no life, yeah. There's no life in our ocean. Soon, if we do not do anything. And in those of you, especially the younger generation who love Japanese food, who love sushi, most probably you only have one type of sushi. You know, now we still have various types of sushi to eat, but soon you'll be looking at only one type of sushi or no sushi at all. We do not do anything, yeah. And then in the glance, yeah, 70% of our planet is ocean. 93%, yeah, 93% of the fisheries has been harvested. We are over harvesting. And every 60 seconds, as I'm talking here, truckloads of plastic enters the ocean. Yeah, 90% of our coral reef are projected to die by 2050. You know, it's not too far away. I might be long gone by 2050, but you guys and the next generation to come might not be able to know. They might not even know what is coral reef, you know. And only 5.3% of our ocean is currently protected. Only 5.3. Why is it only 5.3? Can we increase the number to protect more areas? You know, I mean, why are we not doing so? We know the statistics, but we are not doing so. And if you look at this picture, sometimes in the ocean, you know, you can see that if you look at the horizon, it's so beautiful. But if we actually zoom in, you know, there's a lot of pollution, there's a lot of marine debris pollution, physical pollution in the water, on the beaches, as well as on the sea floor. You know, it's a lot. And these are a scene being taken, you know, in Malaysia itself. You know, this is what happened when the wave bring in all the rubbish. Sometimes it's from other countries, you know, because rubbish, yeah, or whatever things. Ocean are borderless. You know, they do not need the sampah from Thailand ke, from other places. Do not need passport. Yeah, they don't need passport to come to our ocean, our beaches. So that's why sometimes when the current and the wind comes of different direction, at times it can bring lots and lots of rubbish into our beaches. Yeah. And these are all some of the awareness, yeah, some of the messages, the word to everyone. Yeah. And of this, yeah, would actually trigger like what Yi has mentioned, you know, about Nemo. Those are cute little stuff, you know, to actually trigger the interest, to trigger the awareness, you know. But sometimes do not forget, pH is not visible. You know, pH impact is not visible. We do not see. You know, these are all the things that create the interest. Why that is why the focus on plastic pollution is super high compared to other threats. Yeah, because of all this. And of course, mind you, plastic gets smaller and more dangerous. Yeah, when it gets smaller, it can actually go into our food web. When it goes into food web, yeah, what goes in the ocean goes in you and goes into you and goes to into me too. You know, that is the message, you know, we need to send, because once plastics become microplastic, nanoplastics, it can actually go into our system. And scientists now actually have discovered now plastics can be found in the bloodstream. I think our scientists in our hospital, Kubangkerean, you know, have actually discovered, you know, in feces, you know, means it's already entering our food web and we are actually consuming it. Yeah, and also if you look at this very fast, if you look at them, you know, the age, the how long it is their shelf life. Yeah, plastic bottle right in the middle, 450 years. I don't live that long, you know, but it stays in the water. It stays in the water. If you look at disposable diaper, grocery bag, 10 to 20 years, disposable diaper, 450 years, plastic beverages holder, 400 years. You know, sometimes, you know, we might not feel it now, but it's gradually increasing. It's gradually increasing. And I have to tell you, it's no longer diamonds are forever. Yeah, it's actually plastics are forever now, and it's still on the planet today because of the lifespan. You know, of course, women like diamonds, you know, but we cannot afford diamond. We can only afford plastics that are now forever with us. All right. And now a new type of pollution, COVID-19 waste ending up in the world's ocean, is also our concern. Like a conservationist was asking, soon there will be more mass than jellyfish in the sea. That is something very, very scary, and we are not prepared. We are not prepared for this type of new pollution. Yeah, there are many things we still don't know about our vast ocean. So many things, you know, we know what we have a little bit, but there is still a high percentage of what we do not know. Still a lot of things, you know. I urge, you know, for those who has not done majoring, for those in biology, do major aquatic, you know, do major, you know, major aquatic and be a environmental scientist. I would like to show some of the quotes, some of the quotes shared by my students. Yeah, excuse me for a while. These are the quotes by I call them the ocean youth. Yeah, the ocean youth of USM. You should be proud of them. You know, by Abigail. The scariest part about ocean isn't the presence of shark anymore. It is the presence of rubbish and pollutions that harm the ocean. Yeah. And then the next one, yeah, by Choi Yiling. Humans get resources from ocean. Ocean gets garbage from human. Ignorance will only make the beauty of blue no longer visible, and the eyes to the eyes of the living creatures. And by Zikri, yeah, the aspiring wildlife biologists. When one stares into the ocean, they are staring at the primordial placenta of life itself. It should then be no surprise that all life, including humans, depends on the vitality of the ocean to continue existing. Protect it with all your might. And last but not least, the environment and its wealth are just alone, yeah, alone from our future generations to us. They owe us nothing, but we owe them a well-kept environment and a pollution-free sea. My last message to all of you: the journey of educating and creating awareness is a long and filled with many challenges. It requires commitment and cooperation from all. Every one of us should start doing one thing today. Start from today. With that, I pass back to you. With that, I wish thank and I would like to pass back to Yi. Thank you, Yi.
Thank you so much, Dr. Eileen, for your insightful view of the ocean. So what I can say is that if Finding Nemo was shot in this year, we'll just see a bunch of plastic floating around and we won't see any Nemos. Don't you think so, Dr. Eileen?
Yes, yes. Something sad, but it's happening. So the question do, you know, so we can proceed on with the discussion,
Yeah, I agree
Back
too.
to you, Yi. Yeah.
All right, thank you so much, Dr. Eileen. So let us start our discussion first. And I'll be asking a very general question, which will be which will be sent to Dr. Nisha and Dr. Eileen. So first, I'd like to ask, we heard a lot about pollution, a lot of foreign stuff entering our oceans. But let us just discuss first, what are the causes of ocean pollution? So I'd like Dr. Eileen to start first, then followed by Dr. Nisha. So Dr. Eileen, the floor is yours.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Yi. Most of the causes are actually introduced by human, either directly or indirectly to the marine environment. This is due to population growth, more people around, urbanization, development, and industrialization. Now we are looking at IR 4.0, seems like your TTH 4.0, industrialization. All this has the prices. Yeah, he has his prices to pay. Ocean pollutions comes in many forms, yeah, such as oil, sewage, garbage, nutrients, pesticide, toxic chemical, heavy metals, and now it's the pharmaceutical waste. All this will lead to global changes and also changes to the ocean. Yeah, many issues. Yeah, back to you, Yi. Back, maybe Dr. Nisha would want to add more.
Yep, I agree too. So I think Dr. Nisha also has her ideas also. I'd like to hear also from Dr. Nisha.
Yeah, I agree with Dr. Tan. She actually covered most part of it. But I would say over the past decades, excessive human activities had severely affected our marine life and also the Earth's ocean. Ocean pollution, also known as a marine pollution, and is the spreading of harmful substances such as oil, plastic, industrial and agricultural waste, and chemical particles into the ocean. So I would like to touch about several pollution that had severely impacted our marine life. For example, nitrogen-rich fertilizer. This is an agricultural waste in which when it is directed into the ocean, rivers, and then groundwater, eventually deposited in the estuaries, bays, and deltas. So this excess nutrient actually can promote to algae bloom, in which it can actually cause the water oxygen level to lower down. So being a medical person, being a medical doctor, so there are three vital things that we will check in a patient when patient is brought in unstable: airway, breathing, and circulation. I think the same applies to the ocean. So when there's less oxygen, when the ecosystem, the balance is intervened, the balance is not maintained. So this can cause deterioration in the marine life. So besides that, the dumping of toxic liquids in the ocean directly affects the marine life as they are considered hazardous, and it can actually raise the temperature of the water, like what Dr. Than have mentioned earlier. She had discussed about it very deeply just now. So it reduces the temperature in which the animals and plants in the sea, they can't survive this higher temperature. So they have the tendency to go into extinction. This is one of the contributing factor. And besides that, oil spill is the one of the major contributing factor for this pollution, sea pollution. It actually prevents the sunlight from reaching marine plant directly, and it affects photosynthesis of the marine plant, and eventually it causes extinction as well. So this is my input. So back at you, Yi.
Yeah, thank you so much, Dr. Nisha and Dr. Eileen. I bet the audience also has their opinions, but later we'll have a Q&A session where you'll be able to ask your questions in the chat box later. So hold your horses and let's continue with the discussion. So we see that pollution not only comes from one source, it comes from multiple sources. And I think some of us, during this COVID period might be wondering, hey, there's a lot of face masks going on, right? There's a lot of, like just like in the video, one of the young teenagers threw a face mask on the beach. So I'd like to ask about, more specifically COVID waste or face masks. So how can we prevent ocean pollution due to face masks or COVID waste? Dr. Nisha, the audience would like to hear from you.
Sorry, I couldn't hear you.
Oh, yeah, I think it was my line. Sorry,
My
my
line
bad.
is a
Okay.
bit poor. Can you all
No.
hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you, Dr. Nisha. No worries. I think it's my line. No worries. It's not yours. Okay. So the question is like, we're in this pandemic, there's a lot of face masks being produced and imported, exported. So how do we prevent ocean pollution due to face masks or COVID waste in general?
Okay. In general, all this waste clinical cycled. So we can't anticipate it to occur in the future. So according to the WHO research currently, it says that we need to come up with at least 98 millions of masks to anticipate the crisis, global pandemic. So I think in a long run, it's going to cause a deterioration in our environment. So how to prevent it from affecting our environment is by educating the people on how to dispose it. Like clinical waste, we dispose it in a certain way. So when it comes to the public, whenever they are using their masks, their gloves, we still have to educate them on how to dispose it in a proper manner by not just throwing it into the seas, into the waters, in which it can affect our marine system as well. So besides that, I think social media plays an important role as well to spread the awareness, because right now we are, of course, we are in an MCO, so most of us are interacting through social medias, interacting through video calls and sorts. So we can utilize the time to educate on how to prevent this waste going into the environment, to dispose this in a proper way. Not just that, we should start educating the school children from now onwards. Because from what I understood, this pandemic is going to be there at least for another 5 years. This is just a prediction. So when they go out of the school, when they start working, so they have to have this awareness. So I think school is one of the platform where the teachers can go and start educating about this, because as far as I'm concerned, in the syllabus we do not have this subject. So probably the Minister of Education, they can bring in this subject and they can probably incorporate some informations on how to create awareness. So I think those are my points.
All right. I think that's very good. Actually, I understand. So what I can summarize is that we need to focus more on the awareness and especially on education to reduce waste being thrown, especially COVID waste and the face mask, People think it's just like, hey, I just throw it to the ocean, it will just go away and it won't come back to me. But in the end, the ocean will reply with a very angry temper to us. So thank you so much, Dr. Nisha. So my next question will be actually towards Yang Berbahagia Professor Dr. Eileen. So, we've heard a lot about plastic straws, and a lot of people have been advocating for metal straws. So my question to you, Dr. Eileen, on plastic straws help reduce pollution in the ocean?
Well, reduce pollution, especially plastic pollution in the ocean. But what more important is the implementation, mitigation, and enforcement should be in place too to make no straws agenda more effective and more impactful. If there's no monitoring, as there's no enforcement, there will be still plastic straws being used everywhere, especially in Penang, when we have so much of people tapao, bungkus, take away the drinks in plastics, and automatically, the people who pack the drinks, they will put straws, whether you before you can say no straws, they will just tie the straw. They will ask things like tie to the side or tie all, they'll put a straw, right? Remember? Right. And then to me, I feel, we should not just look at banning plastic straw, but we also need to provide alternative and solutions. It's not like you cannot do this, but then I don't give you options, on what if you don't do this, what else can you do? So you must provide alternative and solution, because for example, some people might still need straws. For example, people who have sensitive teeth, or people who are sick or unable to drink standing up. What are the options, alternative without straws? We have to think on the broader picture. It's not just us. This you know sometimes we just say don't use straw, but do they have options? We have options, but some group of people do not have option. And unfortunately also, the solution or alternative are still expensive. If you want to go for metal straw, or even bamboo straws, or whatever, or biodegradable straws, this is still expensive, and the innovation to the alternative and solution have not matured yet. So that is why, even we were to ask any restaurant or any hawker areas, especially hawker areas, change it to paper straw or to other straws. To them, it's something very difficult if they have to pay more, because their profit margin is not that high. It's all about weighing the balance on profit, as well as to take care of the environment. Different people have different priorities, and if the options or solutions were given relatively as the same price as straws, most probably, I believe, the general public will opt for the options, the alternative for plastic straws. Yeah, back to you, Yi.
Very insightful from Dr. Aidin. So what I believe is what Dr. Aidin was trying to say is that commercialization of alternatives, instead of the one way, let's come up with another alternative to replace plastic straws. So I'm also quite curious also for another perspective. So, Dr. Nisha, we've talked about face masks. So I'd like to touch a bit more about this, or can COVID waste. So Dr. Nisha, so how much do face masks or COVID waste contribute to the pollution in the ocean?
Okay, as I mentioned earlier, according to the WHO study in USA, about 89 millions of medical masks are anticipated to be required during this global COVID-19 pandemic. So trillions of this discarded mask, virtually there's no solution to recycle them. So it actually increases 1/3 of the global plastic waste. That is really a lot. Hence, the steps should be taken in an earlier stage. So as I mentioned earlier, those are the steps that we have to look into. Have to educate the children, growing up children, our future generation. We have to talk about this in social media, as a lot of people are engaged in social media these days. So we have to find a way to overcome this. Yeah, back at you, Yi.
So it's a very enormous it's not a contribution, it's a very detrimental pollution to the
Yeah.
ocean. So I'm also quite interested also somehow. COVID waste management, I think not a lot of people are familiar with that term. So I would like to allow Dr. Eileen to shed a light on what is COVID waste management.
Well, I think, COVID waste management is generally about proper and effective management of medical waste, such as discarded personal protective equipment, commonly known as the PPEs, and the single-use plastic mask, glove, and other protective gears we use. How do we manage it properly and effectively, in order not to cause additional harm? because unsafe disposal of healthcare waste, not only pollutes the environment but also conduces to the spread of infectious diseases. But then, when every time when we talk about COVID waste, we always think is only about masks, gloves, and other protective gears. But then we should not also forget during the lockdown, the movement control movement, a lot of time we order online. A lot of time we do a lot of shopping online, and all these products, either in food or in clothes or in things that we buy, always comes in the packaging of single-use plastic, what I call generated by online shopping. When we work from home or study from home, we do more online shopping than usual. At least for me, food wise, sometimes when you're boring, you're on the laptop, you go to Lazada, Shopee, and you tend to buy lots of stuff. And most of this comes with plastic packaging. This is happening extremely more, during the COVID time. So it is of ultimate importance, I feel it of ultimate importance that our local government should have a COVID waste management, not only for the healthcare products, but in general, because like what Dr. Nisha has mentioned, the amount is tremendous. The amount that are going to be discharged, because most of it cannot be reused. Most of it will be discharged. And then our government, our local government, or either, it cannot, not necessarily from federal, but it can be from the state government, should have a COVID waste management plan in place by now. Yeah, safe and sustainable waste management is of major concern, and honestly, I feel this issue has not been adequately dealt with at the moment. This is scary, and this is something we should put to the table of the policy makers. We need a plan, on how to deal with it, not just about the health of the community, but also the waste generated. How are we going to deal with it? Are we all going to throw into the landfill? Those are the questions they should start addressing. Yeah, back to you, Yi.
So we could say that we need more management as it's not adequate, So I think also that since we've talked about COVID waste management, Dr. Nisha, besides the COVID waste we've talked about earlier, do you think we have any extra COVID waste that, where does it come from? Maybe some COVID waste that we've forgotten to touch about. So where do COVID waste come from?
As of for COVID waste, I would divide it into clinical waste and the waste from the community. So as for the clinical, known surgical three-ply mask, sanitary gowns that we use for our PPE, the face shield, the shoe cover, everything is made of plastic. Like most constituent of it is plastic. And also disposable gloves. We have been using it for decades now, which is made from plastic, latex. So as for the community waste, I think Dr. Tan had already touched about it. All those tapawing stuff, people now more into tapawing, they use a lots of plastics. And she had mentioned a little bit about plastic straws, in which I had seen a tremendous changes in our community where they have actually changed their habit of using plastic straw. I've seen a lot of them have actually switched from plastic straw to metal straw and also wooden straw. And that makes me happy. I mean, it has been quite some while since I've seen a straw. Even if you go to this fast food restaurants, they don't provide you with straws. I think it's a good initiative to overall reduce the plastic waste into the environment. And yeah, I mean, the most important thing is how we overcome it, because we are concentrating on reducing the COVID cases. Is that's the major thing in front of our eyes. We are concentrating on how to treat the patient, on how to flatten the curve, but then we actually ignored looking at what are the consequences that we might face in the future when the COVID waste can come back at us and can affect the environment as a whole. So I think we should take the initiative from, as Dr. Tan mentioned, and we had to do something about it. We cannot just wait and see, wait for the solution to come. We have to do something right now. So for that, I think probably in the future, we can set up our own campaign. We can preach about this to the public. I mean, not just about approaching the government to push them to implement something so that the people will be aware of this, but I think we can start it from the ground stage, where we can actually start it small, in a smaller event, in introducing how to manage this COVID waste and to create awareness among the people out there. So that's my input.
That's a very interesting take. So shows that during the COVID-19 period, it's not only about the virus, it's about the waste we subsequently produce, you know. We are a machine, you know, producing a lot of outputs, but how we going to deal with the waste? So that's a good question for the audience today. You should question yourself there. And also, let us also proceed with the next question. Now, I've heard also is that we've also, not a lot of people heard about microbits before. So I myself also, I'm not so familiar with that term. So I'll allow Dr. Nisha to actually share about, no, that was the next question, but pardon me. Okay, so actually that's not a question. So what advances are being made in recycling some of the COVID waste? Yeah, I will allow Dr. Eileen to come on stage to share some of her inputs, you know. So Dr. Eileen, the floor is yours.
Okay, thanks, Yi. I have to admit, I'm a doctor in marine biology and not a medical doctor. I'm not in a position to answer this question, but I was informed by friends who are working in hospitals that advanced technology is applied to treat their medical waste. For example, by steam sterilize or chemically disinfect some of the medical waste. Because before throwing it away, they have to actually disinfect all this medical waste, so the disease or the virus doesn't spread, if they were to just throw it like that. But these are all exceptional. Unsure if this has been implemented by all hospitals. After that, the COVID waste will still need to be discarded at a central system, whether to be used to recycle or which, like what Dr. Nisha said, most of the things are not meant to be recycled. So I get that it is all straight to the landfill. Medical waste disposal facilities are limited in most areas. Even Malaysia is not that advanced. So we do have this limitation. What is more of a concern to all of us is when healthcare waste or even our own used masks along with the municipal solid waste are dumped in the open or in a poorly managed landfill. That is the fact. We bring home our mask. Where do you expect to throw your mask? You just throw it together with other waste, right? The question here is, have we been briefed or have we been guided on how to deal with all these sudden new types of waste? Like Dr. Nisha has mentioned also, education is important, but this is a sudden kind of pollution, a new challenge to all of us. It is not, there's no COVID-19 waste management in the syllabus, in the education syllabus yet. Therefore, there is more needs to create awareness, to create guides, on how to deal with it. I have to be real frank, even with our normal household waste, we have not reached a stage that each and every one of us are managing it properly, even though that is already in our education syllabus. So for example, I usually ask the students, or school children, when I go to school to give talks, I will ask them, how do you throw your plastic waste when you tapau, in some recycle container? Or after makan, I will just put in the tong sampah yang ada symbol recycle, the green triangle thing, recycle. But the actual way of recycling is you have to process it, you have to wash it first. Take out the organic waste, clean it out, and then only you throw it for recycling. If not, it would be just waste. Are doing that, So this is and a way, we have not fully educate our community, our next generation to do it properly. The understanding, the awareness is there, but the practice, the right practices and the behavior change is not in place yet. So we need to learn fast and adapt fast and act fast before all this issue become more serious. Yeah. Back to you, Ye.
I agree also, Dr. Eileen. All talk but no action is pointless. So let's take action today and learn from this talk also. So I'd like to reiterate on the question I asked, I think, around 5 minutes ago, is about regarding microbits. So Dr. Nisha, I heard you also have some input regarding microbits. So what are they in general, microbits? Dr. Nisha, the floor is yours.
Okay, microbits are small manufactured plastic particles that are less than 5 mm in size, 5 millimeter in size, and they do not degrade or dissolve in the water. So for example, if we buy cleanser, some of the cleanser, it contains microbits, which is said to exfoliate your skin, which makes your skin brighter. People always go for that kind of cleanser which has those features because people are more fond of being beautiful, being bright. Not only that, I just came across some body washes which has microbits as well. So I feel like we should boycott this kind of stuff. I mean, I shouldn't use the word boycott. Probably we should come up with a written rule saying that the manufacturer should not produce such products because it can damage our environment. And I came across a recent research which shows that the amniotic fluid contains microplastics. That means the child in the womb is living with the microplastic. It's already in our body. It's already in our bloodstream. It's already in our body fluids. That is just disgusting, right? We are actually living with it. Our body is made of microplastic. That was shocking when the first time I came across that research, but then it took me some while to digest it. And that's when the guilt feeling in me, I was thinking to myself, what am I doing? Why am I not taking any steps? And that's when I came up with my completely 100% biodegradable sanitary napkins, in which I feel that it could contribute not a lot, a little bit, to preserve and conserve the environment. So that's my input regarding it. Are you not shocked that we are made of microplastics?
Oh my God. Homo sapiens might be infused with plastics in the next generations if we do not take actions. Oh my God, that's so disgusting. Let's just hope we are able to bring awareness regarding microbits. It's something I would not want to see my child infused with. One day his kidney has a bunch of microplastic stuff inside. We might be the dolphins in the sea next. The dolphins are stuffed with plastics, and we humans might come next on the food chain. Now, it's very actually. I think so far that we have talked a lot about pollutions and about new topics. And I want to focus about corals actually. So I think corals. Dr. Eileen is quite familiar with corals as she is focusing in marine aquaculture and marine biology. So I'd like to ask a few questions regarding those. So Dr. Eileen, under which category would corals fall into? Is it a plant? Is it a fungus? Or is it an animal? And how important are corals to us? So Dr. Eileen, I would like to invite you to give some input regarding corals.
Yeah, thank you, Yi. Corals are actually animal. Yeah, they're actually animal. It's just that they don't look alive. And it's under the big group of invertebrates living in a group, yeah, or binded together in large structure or hard skeleton. Many of these would combine and form the reefs. Yeah, corals forming the reef and is named as coral reefs. Each individual of the coral is known as polyp, and in one colony, that's hundreds and thousands of polyps in one skeleton, one structure bind together. Yeah, coral reefs. Yeah, I don't say coral, but I would say collectively as coral reefs. Yeah, the whole of the corals in the coral reefs actually provides an important ecosystem for life underwater. Yep. It protects the coastal areas by reducing the power of waves hitting the coast. Because coral reefs are usually in shallower water because it needs the sunlight to grow and to flourish. It's contradicting. When I say is animal, and yet why is it they need sunlight? Because in the coral itself, on the surface, there's this zooxanthellae. It's a kind of symbiont that live together with the coral, and this symbiont plays a role to convert the sunlight to food for the corals. That is why, besides the tentacles, the polyp tentacle coming out to capture some zooplankton, it also relies on the sunlight to enhance its growth. Yeah, that's why corals can only be seen in shallower water, even though if you do not dive, but if you snorkel, you can still see corals in clear water easily, because it's in shallow areas. Yeah. And also, besides reducing the power of waves hitting the coastline to avoid erosion, there's also actually coral reefs area. It's a nursing ground for lots of provide habitats for lots of marine organism, and that also provides a lot of source of income, yeah, for millions of people. A lot of our community are staying, especially the coastal communities. They're all in the coastline. With the coral reef around, it actually provides a livelihood, yeah, jobs and tourism for all this community. And coral reef like diverse and valuable ecosystem, yeah, which provides habitat and shelters for many marine organisms. For example, like 4,000 species of fish, 800 species of hard corals, and hundreds of other species. Let alone, it also has the ability to assist the fixing of carbon and also nitrogen in the water itself. And besides coral, I would say in the marine ecosystem, mangrove, seagrass beds are equally as important as the coral reef. But of course, due to the famous movie Finding Nemo, everybody is more have better understanding on corals and more keen to know about corals than mangrove or seagrass, or even mud flat. Mud flat is also a very rich ecosystem to sustain life, of our marine ecosystem. But it's not popular because it doesn't look nice, as beautiful as the corals. So that's why the perception of the importance of ecosystems. That's all ecosystems are important. Of course, corals is also one of them. Yeah. Back to you, Yi.
Corals looks like the tree version of animals, right? Except underwater. It
Yes.
houses a lot of species, a lot of families are under it. So if you do not protect our corals, what will happen, to all the marine species under it, Corals is like the structure, the foundation of our underwater world. Now, also, I would like to also talk a little bit more about coral reefs or corals. Dr. Eileen, we talked about the importance and how corals are actually animals. So we know the corals are very important to the ecosystem. And how do you save our corals, Dr. Eileen?
Can you sorry, Yi, you were breaking up just now. Can you please repeat the question? Thank you.
I'm so sorry, Dr. Eileen. So
It's okay.
we know that corals are very important and they are animals. Surprisingly, they are animals. And to save these corals, and what are the steps needed? Specifically, how do we save our corals?
Okay, thank you, Yi. To me, whenever things, not only saving the corals in terms of saving many things, I would say there are many things we as an individual can do to save the corals. But first, we must look at the root cause that destroying the corals. Yeah, what are the root cause before we can actually treat or save, or finding ways to prevent. Yeah, the activities that actually destroy the corals is illegal fishing using trawlers, fish bombing, like what we morning in Sabah, by one of your speakers, yeah, UMS students, can also destroy the corals. Coral bleaching due to the sea surface temperature rise. Like I've mentioned, there is this zooxanthellae on the surface of the corals. When the temperature rise above 2 to 3 degrees Celsius continuously for 3-4 days, this zooxanthellae will leave the corals, and the corals will become colorless, and eventually it will die because it do not have the zooxanthellae to help them produce the food itself. That's why we have this coral bleaching due to the temperature rise. And what causes the temperature rise? That is the things we need to address. And then low pH in our waters, that is dissolving the skeleton of the corals, the colony, the structure that holds the coral together. Those are all made from calcium, and it can be dissolved easily with acid. So if the pH is low, it would eventually weaken the structure of the corals. It will eventually dry. And of course, like what Dr. Nisha has mentioned, nutrient pollution. When there's a lot of nutrient, from the terrestrial area going into the water, it will cause eutrophication. It will cause algae bloom. All these things will cause the turbidity of the water. It will reduce the oxygen in the water. When the turbidity of the water been reduced, that means there is less light being penetrating into the water for the corals to absorb, to survive. And then of course, high sedimentation from reclamation area, from coastal erosion, will cause high sedimentation. Therefore, by knowing the causes, we will know what each and every one of us can do in our small little way. For example, do not touch the corals when diving and snorkeling, because the zooxanthellae on the surface is very sensitive. When you touch it, and if you tends to cause stress on the zooxanthellae, it will actually leave the corals, and the coral will experience bleaching. And when bleaching prolongs, the whole coral will die. So, and then do not send chemicals, or do not throw chemicals in our waterways. Yeah, choose sustainable seafood. Yeah, plant trees. Yeah, to reduce the CO2 impact, and to reduce the greenhouse effect, so that our whole earth, or the sea surface temperature would not rise. And start recycling. And most importantly, yeah, to be educated and spread the good practices. Yeah, I would like actually to take this opportunity to raise a question to every one of us tonight. I would like to raise, like, we are talking so much about not only saving corals, about protecting our ocean, and we are talking about reuse. We all know that we should refuse, reuse, reduce, recycle, and lots of, in the early session this morning, a lot of the students were talking about their activities on beach cleaning. Yeah, they share a lot of their activities, club pencinta alam, all those things. A lot of the activities focus on campaign and beach cleaning, and many other activities that we can do together as a student or as a general public, and to walk the talk, or to do the right thing ourselves. But the important thing is to walk the talk and to do the right thing ourselves. The question I want to ask here is, to all of you is, if you see a plastic bag, yeah, if you see a plastic bag, or even a cigarette butt on the floor at the parking lot, or on the pathway where we jog at the park, or in Tasik Harapan, how many of us would actually stop and collect the waste and bring home with us to discard properly? That is the question I want to ask. Like the Malaysians say, tepuk dada tanya hati. How many of us actually practice that? When there is no campaign, when we are alone, we saw plastics on the floor. Do we actually pick it up? Or do we just walk past, and it's not our issue? That is the question. Do not need to answer me, but ask yourself tonight and sleep on it. All of us say we want to be the change, want to make the change, but we have to be the change first. Yeah, it's our behavioral change that is most important here. We can talk about, we can share a lot of activities. We can have beach cleanup day almost every month. But if small little things we see on the ground, we do not pick it up, are we doing the right thing? Yeah, thank you. Back to you, Yi.
That's a very deep question, and I'm still thinking about it. Thank you so much, Dr. Ali. So please treat every marine life or anything related to the ocean and Mother Nature as a baby. Raise it up well, and it will one day take care of you. And so, oh my God, I noticed time flies so fast. It's around 10, 11. So I think we'll have to wrap up, this session. But since we've talked a lot about waste, COVID waste, and about the marine ecosystem, let me just ask one thing. We noticed that the ocean and economy go hand in hand. However, there's one burning question in all of us. So this will be to Dr. Nisha and Dr. Eileen. So what will you think about the economy or the ocean? Which do you think is more important to be cared for? Is it the economy or is it the ocean? Or do you think it can be done hand in hand? So I would like to invite Dr. Nisha to start first.
Okay, it's always about balance when we talk about both this economy and our environment, which is the ocean that you have mentioned. So in a long run, we have to think about our future when we talk about economy. Okay, of course, there are lots of things we are doing that actually interferes with the ecosystem, and there are steps that had been taken. There are steps that we want them to take. For example, during this pandemic, we want them to educate the public. We want them to come up with a law of how to discard COVID-19 waste. So for example, like if let's say we are concentrating only on economy, so the other part, the ecosystem will be threatened. So like I mentioned earlier, it comes hand in hand. It's a balance. Okay, we have to look into this, both the thing, we have to act accordingly. That's my point of view. And of course, all of us have a role in this. Yes, back
Okay,
to you.
yeah, my Eileen here. Okay, my point of view is similar with what Dr. Nisha has mentioned. There must be a balance. Economy and ocean are both equally important. We can have both to care for if we use the right approach. Yeah, we do not need to choose. Yeah, we do not need to choose. What I would say is blue transformation. Yeah, blue transformation is the right solution. Incorporating sustainable aquaculture with innovations, looking at feed ingredients which do not pollute the ocean. Where the scientist needs to come in. Innovation in biosecurity and disease control, and many more blue transformation in line with the three main pillars of sustainability, which is a balance in profit. That means if you are doing culturing seafood in a sustainable manner, or you're harvesting the fish from the wild in a sustainable manner, then there will be a balance in profit with people, generating an income that we take care of the people as well as the environment itself. That is the main three pillars of sustainability that we have to create the balance. Yeah. So to ensure that all these three components has been taken care of without damaging any of it. Yeah. Thank you. Back to you, Yi.
Oh, that's very interesting from Dr. Nisha and Dr. Eileen. So I believe that it's best we humans live in according to nature, as the Stoics would say. Even though we're not Stoics, we also can use that economy. It's not only about the profits; it's about Mother Nature itself. So let's generate economy that is environmental friendly, and more specifically, let's save Mother Nature and the ocean. Thank you so much, doctors, both Doctors Nisha and Dr. Eileen, for taking your time for sharing all of your inputs. And now we come to the Q&A session, more specifically, the question and answer sections. So For those participants who are curious, or the young Darwinians or young Einsteins out there, I call upon you to ask your questions to our beloved panelists and write them down in the chat box, and I will send them to Dr. Eileen and Dr. Nisha. So take your time. So if any questions, I'll tell directly here, Dr. Eileen and Dr. Nisha. So give me a few seconds here to compile the questions. Okay, the questions are on the way. Now the internet is a bit slow, so it's like traveling by walking, not by car. So it's eco-friendly. So no worries, the questions are still on the way. Sorry about that. Oh, we have our first question. So it's to Dr. Eileen actually. So Dr. Eileen, is biological degradable plastics useful to reduce ocean plastic pollution? There's a question in a question. Do we have an organization or department which to monitor the biodegradability standard in every environment, especially in a marine environment? Dr. Eileen.
Thank you. Thank you. This is a very good question. You know, scientists has been debating on biodegradable component. Does it actually really truly biodegradable, or it will actually break into smaller pieces faster, you know, and become microbe in size and still enter the food web before it vanish, you know. So that is something the scientist is still looking into that alternative. And as for the organization, I'm not familiar, and I'm not sure um, um, is there any organization or department. That is why by right, the Department of Environment and Water should be doing regular monitoring. But sometimes the task is too huge for one ministry to monitor. We have roadmaps. We have roadmaps for plastic, zero plastic waste. But it does not actually. It has its management plan. But like I've mentioned in my earlier speech, it's always the mitigation and monitoring that is important. That is why I personally feel the local government, the state government, or even the local policymakers should comes in together hand in hand with the academia or with the scientists or with the a more significant role in terms of helping to monitor the environment. Now it's not only in the ocean itself. You have to monitor also on the beaches, on the terrestrial area, on the landfill area, you know, all those sort of monitoring, that it cannot be solely been put under the shoulder of one ministry. Yeah, back to you, Yi.
Yeah. The environment is not only specifically for one department, it's all humans. We all play a part, as all lives comes from the ocean and the environment. Now, I think we have more questions. Yep, so it's still on the way. Again, we are going environmental friendly, so the car of questions are coming. Not car, but humans. Humans in general. Cars are not really eco-friendly. Hopefully we have an eco-friendly car soon. Okay, so for Dr. Nisha, okay, I believe that we can change ourselves, but we cannot force others with our view. So how can we make them realize and create awareness what is happening in the ocean? For example, majority of the people maybe don't realize on how to throw the medical waste such as the mask right now. So that's a short. So Dr. Nisha, the user just requests a short answer. So Dr. Nisha, you may start.
The line was a bit bad. Could you repeat the question again?
Okay, no worries. Okay, for Dr. Nisha, I believe that we can change
Yes.
ourselves, but we cannot force others with our view. So how can we make them realize and create awareness about what is happening in the ocean today? For example, majority of the people maybe don't realize on how to throw the medical waste such as masks right now. So short answer requested by a user. So
Okay, as I mentioned earlier, of course, we can create campaigns to make them realize what is actually happening. We create a video. For example, when we started off this session, we created a video to show, and it is an impactful video. It actually hits me very hard to be seeing all those ocean pollution that we have caused over the decade. So that's how we have to picturize it. We have to show them what's actually happening, what's the real thing behind it, and what are the consequences of it. For example, I've mentioned about microplastic. We are living with it. Our bloodstream is filled with microplastic. Even a mother is carrying a child with microplastic. So this kind of factual things, there are not many people know regarding this. So we have to make them realize, we have to make a video out of it, we have to show them that it is actually the legit thing, real thing that is happening around us, and not many people are aware of it. Of course, social media plays an important role on this. During this time, pandemic, it plays a very crucial role to educate the public about how to dispose this COVID-19 waste in a proper way, and how to take care of our environment as well as our ocean. Yeah, back at you.
it's an interesting take. So awareness is very key in this point, yeah, as emphasized by all the speakers and the panelists over here. So please act on your awareness and don't be afraid to do the right thing. Change yourself, then we can change the environment. So I believe we have also questions, more incoming questions. Wow, we have a lot of curious Darwinism, yeah. So give me a second, I'll just check again. Oh, apparently, I think we have no questions. So I think the Q&A section, we could say, has come to an end. And I think what we've seen from this forum is that it really helped out a lot, especially opening my eyes. I hope the viewers has an eye-opening experience. And next time when you go to the beach or any ocean or any aquamarine environments, please take care of Mother Nature. Now, to wrap up this session, I would like to come to announce the end of the forum. Ladies and gentlemen, we come to the end of the forum. We hope that you'll be able to benefit from our interesting and informative talk from our panelists about cerulean reflection of your soul. And we would like to thank again to active participation to all the audiences. We truly hope that this forum will be beneficial for everyone. And once again, thank you so much, Dr. Nisha and Dr. Eileen, for spending your time over here and educating the public. Thank you, and back to our beloved MC, Ernie. The floor is yours, Ernie. And a round of applause. Thank you so much.
Thank you to our moderator, Yi Jian Yang. Ladies and gentlemen, furthermore, the participants also had the opportunity to follow the discussion session that took place this morning, a discussion session involving representatives from 6 universities throughout Malaysia who touched on the topic on what happened in the ocean under SDG 14 Life Below Water. So next, the ceremony will be continued with the token presentation of appreciation for Yang Berusaha Profesor Dr. Faisal Rafiq Muhammad Adikan, Vice Chancellor of University Science Malaysia. Next, for our panelists yang berbahagia, Profesor Datuk Dr. Eileen Tan Shao Hui, Director of Center for Marine and Coastal Studies CIMAX USM, and Executive Director of Asia Pacific University Community Engagement Network. Dr. Nisha Tayanathan, Miss Earth Malaysia 2020-2021. And our Synergy Partner Penang Green Council, PGC Organization. To light up our event tonight, our guest artist will present a song entitled Mudah Bagimu. Welcome to Kucai Mas, our special guest artist for tonight.
Hello.
Hi.
Hai. Dengar suara?
Ya, dengar.
Alright. Okay, first, greeting to everyone. Thank you to the host of the event, Honorable VVIP Professor Dr. Faizal Rafiq Muhammad Adikan, the Vice Chancellor of University Science Malaysia. Yang berbahagia Prof. Datuk Dr. Alin Tan Shao Huai, Professor from the School of Biology, University Science Malaysia, Director of Center for Marine and Coastal Study, University Science Malaysia, Executive Director of Asia Pacific University Community Engagement Network, and Dr. Nisha Tayanathan, Miss Earth Malaysia 2020-2021. Respect Sir Tan Sri Dr. Shahrizal Nazri, the Principal of Desa Siswa Restu. All Deputy Principal of Desa Siswa Restu. All the lecturer from the USM and other university as well. Respectable Miss Joyana Dilam Anak Clement, the President of the Student Council of Desa Siswa Restu MPDR. Tuan Muhammad Haikal, Tuan Muhammad Akhtar, Tuan Muhammad Haikal, Tuan Muhammad Akhtar, Project Director of TTH 4.0. Majlis yang dipertua, Majlis Penghuni Desa Siswa University Science Malaysia Academic Session 2020 and 2021. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to sing my third single, Mudah Bagimu. So I hope you guys enjoy, and if line is problem, enjoy. Just enjoy. Okay. Enjoy ya. Hari demi hari terus ku jalan mencari cahaya untuk diterangi. Masih tak mengerti terjadi begini, terus tinggalkan aku sendiri. Ku masih berdoa kau kembali padaku, tetapi diriku sukar untuk terima. Mudah saja bagiku melupakan diriku. Cintaku ini bukan untuk dimainkan. Masih tak mengerti terjadi begini, kau terus tinggalkan aku sendiri. Ku masih berdoa kau kembali padaku. Oh no, tetapi diriku sukar untuk terima. Oh, 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 oh. Mudah saja bagiku melupakan diri. Cintaku ini bukan untuk dimainkan. Oh, mudah saja untukmu melukakan hatiku. Kalau diriku tetap akan menunggu, sungguh terasa berubah. Cintamu melengkapi hari-hari, teruskan hidup meski perih. Oh, mudah saja bagiku melupakan diriku. Cintaku ini bukan untuk dimainkan. Oh, mudah saja untukmu melukakan hatiku. Walau diriku tetap thank you, boss. Thank you, everyone.
Okay.
But for the last, I wanna say thanks to all everyone. I hope this pandemic can berbaik lah, pulih seperti biasa, and then kita akan perform seperti biasa dan saya akan datang ke USM, kita perform live sama-sama. InsyaAllah, doa yang terbaik.
InsyaAllah. Amin. Mantap.
Thank you. Thank you,
Thank
Ernie.
you. Thank you, Coach Armas. What a wonderful performance from you. We really enjoy it. Okay. Okay. Do you have any words?
What?
Ada apa-apa nak sampaikan ke? Ada apa-apa pesanan?
Saya cuma nak, saya harapkan semoga event ini akan berjalan seperti biasa, akan kekalkan lagi event ini hingga ke tahun-tahun seterusnya. Kita akan buat sebab event ni bagus untuk especially kita punya especially kepada remaja-remaja yang kita tak tahu benda ni, and then event ni bagus untuk masa-masa akan datang. So teruskan untuk event ini. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. I would like also thank you Yang Berusaha Professor Dr. Faisal Rafiq Muhammad Adikan for his willingness to make a short video speech and inauguration our program for tonight. And finally, millions of appreciation are also extended to the kind corporate bodies who generously sponsoring to support the continuation of this program. So the contribution that have been given either in the form of money or time or energy will be richly rewarded by Allah Ta'ala. So before we end this program, I would like to invite our panelists and guests to open the camera for a photography session.
Ernie?
Ya, saya.
Jadi kamu host dengan baik hari ini.
Terima kasih. Terima kasih banyak.
Ada rezeki nanti kita jumpa, okay? Semoga pandemik.
Amin. Ya. Okay, give a moment for us to take a picture. Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. Sudahkah? Alright, thank you for our panelists and guest artists. Okay, together let's watch TTH closing video that have been prepared by the community's member.
Mr. Hamida.
Gracias.
Thank you.
谢谢。
Merci. Arigato gozaimasu.
Romba nandri.
Terima kasih.
Thank you again, Coach Aimas, for your appearance tonight. And unfortunately, we have reached the end of this program. I would like to apologize if there was any mistake throughout this program. So a big thank you also to our Vice Chancellor of USM, the panels, guest artists to the penggawa and penolong penggawa, the saksi suara to USM, High Council of MPD Restu, MYDP MPD USM, Project Director TTH 4.0, High Council of TTH 4.0, Team TTH 4.0, and to all the participants that joined us tonight. So, and I would like to take this golden opportunity to say thank you for all the sponsorship from Bank Rakyat, Yakult, Red Bull, and the MG Group. Your sponsorship will help us towards achieving our objective of our program TTH 4.0 tonight. So, dear participant, before leaving, please scan the QR code for the attendance and e-cert. Thank you and stay safe.